Hey everyone, welcome to High Heels and Hay Bales, the podcast where polished meets practical, legal meets lifestyle, and debt meets dirt.
I'm Kristen, your resident farm lady, keeping it real about motherhood, homesteading, and the funny side of figuring out life.
And I'm Adrienne, aka the Ladylike Lawyer. I'm here to help you make sense of money, debt, and the legal stuff without boring you to tears.
So kick off your boots or heels and let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Back to High Heels and Hay Bales, where we talk about motherhood, money, mayhem, and we do it from two very different front porches.
And today we are getting deeply unserious. Not that we're ever really too serious. Anyway, the world has been a little too apocalypse now, so we need a break.
Yeah, we do. So that's why Kristen and I are bringing you things that should be illegal, but somehow are not. It's just a list of our own personal grievances, micro crimes, and questionable societal choices that really honestly deserve some jail time.
Like glitter. I mean, I use it for my own personal vengeance, but why is it still a thing?
Yeah, or people who FaceTime on speakerphone in the grocery store. Like, that should be immediately go to jail. And I'm a content creator.
Yeah, we're gonna share our most petty grievances and basically act like two wine-drunk PTA moms with a microphone and no filter. So let's do it.
Well, if we can't fix it, Kristen, let's at least try to roast it, right?
Exactly.
So we are going to start right in, Kristen. I am so excited for this episode because we have been journaling a list of grievances. We've been waiting for this episode to come along. I've gotten a few in from my followers too that I can throw in here now in every once in a while. But we're each going to go through some of our personal grievances, and there are so many things out there in the world that we could be worrying about, right? There's so many laws in place that you and I don't agree with. And there are just so many things going on. But these are real things. And I wish somebody would address them.
Agreed.
I think we need to put aside the serious stuff and let's get down to the small things because that's where life is lived.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. So what do you got first?
Well, I would say the first thing that should be illegal is underwire bras.
Gasp. Like gasp. Here's the thing.
Gasp.
I am a member of the I have too much up top club. And I basically need steel reinforcements.
No, I get it. Listen, I lost 100 pounds a couple of years ago. So I've always been in the hefty knocker category. I want to make sure you understand that because I had great large boobs for a really long time. And I know how important the underwire is. But I'm just saying, it feels like technology should have gotten to a place where we don't have underwire, U-shaped underwire that's rounded on the end and starts to poke out and poke us in the armpit. And I know that there are other things out there, and believe me, I've tried them. You know those shirts on Instagram and TikTok that have like the built-in bra? The problem with those, I'm just going to say it, Kristen. The problem is they don't separate out the boobs, so it looks like you got one tube boob in those things, right?
Correct.
So now we're just complaining about women's intimate wear.
Listen, you know what? There's no reason not to because, I mean, pockets in pants, not having pockets in pants is aligned with that. But click on the underwire bra thing, okay? It is a crime. They need to. I've got it on right now. I had to go spend $97 on 2 bras to replace the one that snapped and stabbed me. I have scars. It's bullshit.
I have an underwire bra on too. I have one on right now. They are not as big as they used to, but they are big enough to need something. And I just don't like any of this.
No,
and I would love to hear if any of our listeners have found the perfect bra that doesn't have underwear. I mean, I've heard all of the ones out there, but I'm telling you, nothing works like an underwire bra, and I hate it.
No.
Yeah.
I actually tried on a strapless bra today and immediately took it off and was like, this is pointless. And threw it away.
Well, strapless bras really are pointless for the most part. For
there's
anybody who has boobs,
Yeah.
the strapless bras are 100% made for people who don't have boobs.
Absolutely. I have to have straps. But anyway, back to the pants thing.
Yes.
When I used to sew clothes and make, design fabric and all that stuff, we actually had a whole huge thread on Facebook about why pants don't have pockets. And it was like another way for the man to keep us down.
Oh,
Seriously.
for sure. Oh, no question.
So, yeah, us taking the pockets back, it's a form of resistance.
Taking the pockets back. You know what? And put them in every dress and skirt, too, because I'd wear a lot more cute ones if there were pockets in them. I still have needs, even if I'm looking cute.
Exactly. Can't always have a purse or a clutch.
Exactly. All right. Another one. I've got one.
Okay.
I think everybody's going to resonate with this one. Tipping. Tipping should be illegal. You should pay your people enough to live off of what you pay them like they do in every other country.
Agreed.
I am so tired of trying to figure out the tipping. And let's be honest, it's totally out of control. It's totally out of control.
Oh, yeah.
I think tipping should be illegal.
Like the ones that are gratuity included, if your service sucks, I shouldn't have to pay that. But that's where it gets so iffy. Like my niece is a server at a decent restaurant, and she's had a table where there were 8 people. They sat there for 2 hours and they tipped her $5.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't control that. And in a workplace, right? That's like me saying to my paralegal, hey, I'll just pay you whatever people can pay me when they walk in the door. We'll just see what that is.
Yeah.
And that's totally not a way for anybody to live. And I think I hate to talk about other countries, but when I go to another country, believe me, people in restaurants in other countries love Americans because we're so used to tipping, we can't even stop. Even when we're told not to do it, I can't stop.
Yep.
And it's so ingrained in who we are. But in other places, they don't do that. The tipping is not a thing the way it is here. And it's just out of control. And it's really just passing on, you're not taking care of your employees. I don't think you're taking care of your employees when you're leaving them to be at risk like that. And just good luck.
But it's also ingrained in us that like when I've been at places where like the guys at the grocery store actually pull your food out or your stuff out to your car and load your car for you, whatever, they're not allowed to accept tips.
Yeah.
And my brain's like, well, you're doing an extra service. Are they paying you enough for this? You know what I mean? Like, man, I don't know how to feel about that.
I have learned that with the exception of a dispensary, and the Delta agents at the ticket booth at the airport, with the exceptions of those 2 people, if you try hard enough, they will take that tip. The grocery store people will take it. We used to tip at the airport to be, used to tip the sky cap and, make sure your luggage got there. Oh yeah. My dad taught me that. And so, since everything's changed to there, you don't do it as much, but I had a Delta agent help me out, get me on a flight, and at the last minute I tried to tip him and he couldn't take it. So I gave him a sticker for his water bottle because I had those. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to find a way to tip if I can. I am a service person's dream because I feel guilty and I feel like that person needs to go home and feed their kid. Right. So it never ends up being about the service for me. It just ends up being something that I built into the price and it's just getting more and more expensive.
Yep, exactly. I just had stuff delivered from Aldi for dinner tonight and I know I left a decent tip, but it's 100 freaking degrees outside right now. So after my husband brings everything in and make sure it's there, I'm going to add more to the tip because they did me a solid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of groceries, I've got one for you. Okay.
Oh, yes.
And this makes me so infuriated.
Really?
I need this to be a life freaking sentence.
Okay.
If somebody leaves an empty package, an empty wrapper, or anything empty, you use the last of it and you leave the damn thing in the refrigerator, I'm going to call citizens arrest. You leave a Pop-Tart box in the cupboard and it's empty, and by God, I've already ordered groceries, so I'm going to have to go back. I have been fighting this for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm going to end up in prison over this.
Well, let me ask you something. Do your family members put it back completely empty, or is there or do they put like a milk container in with like 2 sips of milk in it? Or is it both?
Depends on their fancy. My oldest child thinks she won't get in trouble for taking the last thing if she puts the packaging back. Or I won't notice that it's gone.
Gotcha.
My husband will, and she's also picked up.
Listen,
his
that's a valid assumption on the part of a 3-year-old. I'm just gonna say
11.
It's still a valid assumption on the part of an 11-year-old. I mean, I would probably be using that logic at 11. I'm just saying.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess because you can't really tell who did it last. But no, my husband is the one with the freaking milk, man. He'll leave literally like not even a whole sip, just a half a sip. Like, why not just finish it, dump it? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want your tainted milk because I know there's probably backwash. It's disgusting. I'm gonna need his Xanax after that.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Like,
I have another one.
Yeah. Okay.
I cannot freaking stand cup holders that do not actually hold most cups.
Is this a cup holder problem or a cup problem?
Well, the cups in America are varying in size now. And let's be honest, I think the cup holders need to be moving along the evolutionary cycle here.
That's why you get the tapered cup so that the bottom fits.
Yeah, I'm seeing your 3-foot tall tapered cup. The problem too is even in that, it's so top heavy that it tips over because a lot of times the cup holders are like 3 inches deep. I'm talking about the entire design of a cup holder. So many things are wrong about most of them. And
Agreed.
I can never, ever get my, whatever it is, whether it's my coffee, whether it's my icy from 7-Eleven, or whether it's my smoothie from the fancy yoga place. I can't ever get it to fit in a cup holder correctly.
All right, I buy cars based on how many cup holders there are.
Yeah.
So I feel like this should be more of a sticking point for me. But honestly,
are you happy with your cup holders? Are you saying you're happy with your cup holders?
I think maybe I've just found the correct cup to cup holder ratio. But if I take like this cup, this would never fit in any cup holder.
Yeah.
Right? Never.
Yeah, but why not? And you're holding up a mug, a traditional coffee mug with a handle on it. But let's be honest, there's a lot of times when I'm drinking coffee out of my mug in the morning and I'm walking to my car and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to take this with me because I don't want to dirty another cup. I don't want to put stuff in the landfill. And let's be honest, I forgot to buy paper cups. So I have to use my coffee cup and it ain't going to fit anywhere in that car. We all know where that coffee's going to end up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did have a time where I bought like the 50, 60 million ounce giant cup thing full of pop. This is almost 20 years ago. Okay. So I'm out driving around, get myself one of those big giant pops. I had thrown the phone, the only phone we owned at the time, in the seat, all the stuff in the seat. I took a turn. It toppled over. There was 60 ounces of pop in my seat.
Yeah,
the cell
that's
phone's
what I'm
floating.
saying.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Now you know what I'm saying. For somebody who spent a lot of time in a car, and for those of you who don't know, before COVID, I was driving 35 to 40,000 miles a year going from court to court. Thankfully, that's something I don't have to do anymore. And I'm loving it, but I spent a lot of time in a car. So things like that have always bugged me. But it sounds like there's grievances that a lot of us can get behind, but then there's the ones that really, really, really irrationally make us crazy. It sounds like the milk in the empty container one is deep down that lane for you. But do you have some that might surprise us or that are deeply, deeply?
I mean, okay, so like when you are a renter and the place allows pets, but then they charge you pet rent.
Oh yeah.
I know that shouldn't annoy the absolute living hell out of me, but like, you're charging $1 bajillion a month. Why an additional 25 pounds for my cat that barely, like, she doesn't even sit in a window? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
I just don't get my $25 extra a month is not going to replace the carpet that you think my cat is going to destroy.
Right? I mean, how much would it cost to fix carpet? I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that expensive after you've lived in it for a little while. And they have to clean and change carpet anyway. And cats are cleaner than most people I've met. Let's be honest. All right. Well, I'm going to stay on the driving category for myself. Okay. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to give you very clear understanding of what will enrage me on an irrational level that is hard to describe to other people. And there's really three things that really fall into this category for me. But the first is definitely going to be driving in the left lane if you're not passing. I am so irritated by human beings who are in the left lane in the highway and they're not passing another car, because that's what the left lane is for, people. You're supposed to get in it, pass, and then get back over so the people behind you don't have to be on your goddamn schedule, okay? You get past the car and you get out of the way so the rest of us can break the law at our own desire, okay?
Okay, hold on. How about the a-hole that stays in the middle lane and slows the whole thing down? And they can't get over in the slow lane? Why not? Nobody's over there. They're all passing them in the left lane.
And now you got to start passing them on the right lane.
I got stuck in that coming from your house the other day. I was like, this guy's going 40 and then 65. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. That should immediate pull over. I think you're supposed to pull them over if they're just driving in the lane, but
you are. Does. But let me tell you something. There are a lot of people who just drive around completely unaware of where they are and what they're doing, and I hate to say it, it's oftentimes women. I don't want to be the person who is reinforcing a negative stereotype, but honestly, you ladies are embarrassing me.
Okay. All right. This one may surprise my family if they're listening. Chewing ice. Okay. Yeah. Here's the reason why it should surprise people. When I was a kid, I was an Olympic ice chewer. I didn't care. My mom would get so mad at me and just, oh my God. A couple months ago, I realized that every time my 11-year-old would chew ice, I would start getting like tense. And finally I was like, quit chewing the ice. And she's like, So then she started getting sneaky and I would just hear the tink of the ice in the cup. And I'm like,
yeah.
What the hell has happened to me? I'm turning into my mother. What the fuck?
You are. You're turning into your mother. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. But you know what? We are who we are. And if it bothers us.
I heard a person chewing ice in public and it took every ounce of my energy not to smack the shit out of them. Like, we had Kona ice at the farmer's market. And people are walking around crunching ice, and I didn't notice because we were outside. But then a little kid came up and had their Kona ice, and they were, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna pop.
So Kona ice is like a icy snow cone.
Yeah.
Thing,
like
right?
just a little bit bigger, like the slushies back in the day. Yeah. I didn't realize that it was going to be a great idea, but also a terrible idea at the same time.
Yeah. I will say it was a great idea from your leading the market role there, because it was a hot one. So having Kona ice was there good. But being somebody who doesn't like other people to chew on ice and being in charge of the farmer's market, you might want to rethink that Kona ice.
Rethinking that one. You know what was more popular? The coffee truck. That should surprise no one.
Well, because it's the morning time. But honestly, Kona ice is very popular because it's hot and as they should be. Yes. All right. Would you like to know my second absolute? I mean, these are the things that create internal rage. I can have road rage sometimes. Like I have to like pull it down because of that left lane thing. But here is something like I am that person on an airplane. When that flight lands and I fly a lot. So when we get to the gate and the captain turns off the things and says you could basically unclip your seatbelt, it makes me so irrationally angry when people from behind me try to jump up and run down the aisle to get ahead of me when it's one row at a time. And let's be very honest, these days, you're paying to be in the seat. So I pay to be towards the front so I can get off fast. I do it. Mm-hmm. In case anybody wanted to know, that is something I do because I do not like to be on an airplane any longer than I have to. Which is why it makes me even more angry when the people behind me come running down like it's some kind of like it's like we're at Cedar Point, like we're at an amusement park. That's not how this works, my friends. It's row. Oh man, last time I was on a plane, I got pretty saucy with somebody, and let me tell you the problem with that, because you're all stuck there. Because once they make the run up, right, and she's standing by me, and I start saying, "What exactly do you think you're doing here? What do you think I didn't pay for this seat? Do you think we all don't want to get off of here?" You know, and I'm having this conversation, and the doors are not opening, and now we are stuck, staring at each other in a very awkward situation. I mean, I'm not ready, willing, and able to throw down at this point. This is not where I wanted this to go. But I can certainly be a bitch. I could be a bitch about it. There's just no question. I could be a bitch about it because it's something that bothers me so much.
Well, I mean, if you paid for it, there should be rules. I mean, there should just be a good Samaritan on the planes these days that just sticks their foot out and trips the people that do that shit.
That's what I think I am, as the Good Samaritan. Thank you for giving me a title. I am the Good Samaritan. Thank you. I feel so much better. I'm going to call myself a Good Samaritan every time I tell somebody what they're doing wrong.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Okay. This one is female specific. So we did fertility treatment. I've talked about this a million times. When we weren't getting pregnant right away, and people would say, just relax, go on vacation, just have a glass of wine. It'll happen. Bitch, my ovaries do not relax. You know what they do? They say, oh, go fuck yourself. That's what they do. Okay? It doesn't, no. I had a straight up argument with a woman at work one day because I was talking about how frustrating it was and how expensive it was. And she's like, stop spending all that money, honey. Just relax. You go on a vacation for a couple days. You know what to do. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
We are not in this situation because we failed to understand what happens, right. how this is supposed to happen. We are not here because of that.
Right. No.
You do not need to further explain exactly how it works. That's not what's happening here.
Exactly. That that one, I've gotten into some serious arguments with people, and I've been a real bitch about it. Once you get told that so many times, the off the cuff remarks you come up with to respond, my joy became leaving people speechless.
Yeah, no,
and
I could see that.
Making them feel like complete assholes.
I'm sure you're very good at that. I know I'm very good at that. If I put my mind to it, so I have no doubt you're very good at that as well. You know, I would say that the unsolicited advice as a general rule is probably something that should just be illegal. It's just something that should categorically be illegal. All the unsolicited advice, getting it about fertility, I think it's very insulting for people to say, oh, just manifest it, when you don't have money for your for groceries. That kind of generic cliche advice is so unhelpful. And I'll also extend it to this. As content creators, you and I, we receive a lot of unsolicited information and opinions from people. And I get it. Correct. We put ourselves out there, right?
Right.
But I have a nose ring, and I got to tell you, every time somebody comes into my content and says anything negative about the way I look as a result of my nose ring, I feel that's like my personal lane where I get to go be a raging lunatic. And I come back pretty hard because I don't really give a crap what you think. And just stopping and giving your unsolicited opinion to somebody, to a stranger, especially a woman, about her appearance, I think is absolutely insanity. And so I want to show people that it may not be illegal yet, but it is totally inappropriate.
Yes, I do enjoy when you kind of go a little.
I do that
little off on that. That's one of my favorite things.
I have one more. I have one more. Absolutely, I will just say it. I absolutely am horrified and disgusted, and cannot believe that somebody would fart in an elevator and then leave. I cannot stand people who fart. I will hold my farts. I am not going to fart in an elevator. I am not going to put you in that situation. Don't do it to me or any other stranger here. That's my thing. Now, listen, you're on a plane. There's nothing you can do about it. You're in a long car with your family. You got to do what you got to do eventually, right? But don't do it in the elevator. Get off the goddamn elevator.
Okay, I have a story. It's not an elevator, but it almost made me divorce my husband. We were at the fertility doctor's office. I had just gotten done having artificial insemination. My husband is sitting there. I'm like, after you get it done, you have to sit and wait and like 5 minutes or whatever. Yeah. So they walked out. Doctor's like, we'll be back, couple minutes. One of the nurses that used to work there, I have known since I was like 7 years old, and went to church with her forever. And for some reason, my husband's stomach was killing him that day. He had the worst gas ever. And instead of getting up and leaving the room that I was trapped in, he decided to rip it. And it smelled so bad, I was starting to get nauseous. And then the nurse opened the door and she said, "You're ready to..." I said, I told my husband, "Get out of here. Go to the car. I don't want to see you. I don't want to speak to you." It was mortifying. It's are just, yeah.
Yes.
Any enclosed space.
Listen, I am fully aware that you can die from an impacted colon by holding your poop in. I just want you to know that I know that that's a possibility. I know that happens. And so by definition, that means you should be able to hold a fart in, and nobody's asking you to do it for a week, just for the period of time that you are on this elevator, which should not be a taxing type of request. That's all I'm saying. Well, I am who I am, and it kind of is who it is, right? It just is. I do not like the farts, but here's what I will say. Let's move on to something a little bit a little bit different, Kristen. We've been talking about things that should be illegal but are not. Let's flip over to, things that are illegal but should be legal. I mean, let's make it make sense, right? Things that are illegal that we are not allowed to do, but we should be allowed to do them. I mean, like, there's a lot of these, but here's what I'll do. I'll start the discussion off here, Kristen, because I had done a little bit of research and I know a lot of pretty crazy things about some laws in the United States of America. Mm-hmm. Did you know that in Indiana, you cannot ride a horse going more than 10 miles per hour?
You're talking to the woman who has researched the dumbest laws in America, and that one I actually do. And I didn't research for this episode. I researched this a long time ago.
Oh my God, are you serious? Yeah. So there you go. And there are a lot of things. I mean, did you know in Louisiana, it's actually illegal to send someone a pizza unsolicited? It's in their it's considered like stalking harassment.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
What the heck?
And in Arizona, I know this one's really going to impact you. I'm glad you're not living in Arizona, Kristen, because if you did live in Arizona, it would absolutely be illegal to let your donkey sleep in your bathtub.
Damn it.
It can stand up. You can stand them up in your bathtub, but they're not allowed to sleep in your bathtub.
That would eliminate Thursday night fun time, though.
Mm-hmm. Damn. There's a funny law in Florida too, and I'll let you go after this. But did you know in Florida in the 1920s they passed a law stating that you have to pay for your animal to park? And it was put into law because the Ringling Brothers came to town, and they had like a training place, and they had elephants and stuff. And so they had to pass this ordinance so that Ringling Brothers would have to pay every time their elephants were standing outside someplace so they could get parking fee for them.
That was Florida, right?
Of course it was.
Okay, that was going to be my next statement. Oh, wow. Okay, all right. So these are less dumb laws, but these should not be illegal, okay? Collecting rainwater.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it's not illegal where I live, and it changes in different cities and towns and, whatever your bylaws are. But I didn't even realize this until somebody told me about it on TikTok, and I was like, you've got to freaking be kidding me.
Well, what about in my neighborhood? We are not allowed to have fences or any flowering trees, fruit-bearing trees or shrubs. So we're not. We used to be a peach orchard here in this area of Ohio, but we are not allowed to have fowls. We can't have chickens. We can't have apple trees. Yeah.
But see, that's the problem with HOAs, and HOAs should just be illegal or illegal.
I agree.
Illegal.
I agree. The HOA should not be able to override your constitutional rights.
Right. Even if it's just having a chicken or 7.
Right.
I mean,
my next door neighbor has ducks, and they are emotional support ducks. I'm still so proud of them for that. Pulling that one out.
That's genius. I love that.
It is.
It's brilliant.
Well, I did help them come up with that.
Oh. As you should. Being the legal lady, you definitely need to be the one coming up with the workarounds.
But let me give you another one. The state of Georgia has a law that in Georgia you cannot live on your boat for more than 30 days. And there's a lot of people who live on boats. It's a confusing law. Don't know why that would exist, except maybe I don't know. Is it so that people will I don't know why that rule would be, but it seems like it would jam people up who otherwise, could be living on them. I don't know. I think a lot of people live on their boats.
Yeah. I mean,
I live in a boating community, and I know a lot of people live on their boats, and to say you can only be on there 30 days, it seems like it's really curtailing what they would have to go buy a house or rent an apartment because they
maybe
can't
that's
stay.
why.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like taxes, because they can't really tax a boat on the water, I guess.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's so weird. Okay. How about this? As a cottage baker, meaning like I bake stuff in my home or whatever, sell stuff at the farmer's market, okay? I can sell strawberries. I can make and sell chocolate. I cannot make chocolate covered strawberries and sell them. That is against the law in Ohio.
That's crazy.
Make it make sense.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yes. I can't make cookies with icing, separate them, so have a cookie and icing, and sell it as a kit to put the icing on top of the cookie. It's against the rules.
You know what?
Yep.
The rules about anything good, like food, alcohol, cannabis, right? Like, why is cannabis so legal in Michigan, but you'll go to jail in, I don't know, another state? I'm sure there's states you go to jail for it still.
West Virginia.
What?
Here's the thing. The cannabis thing is funky because, like, I just heard a story on NPR. An Australian man came to the country. He was deported immediately because it was actually to do with things we're not speaking of at this moment. He was a reporter on things, but he had purchased cannabis products in New York City, and he said he didn't on something, and because by the state of New York's laws, he was legal. Federally, he was not. That's why they deported him. So that state and federal thing really just jacks everything up, man.
Yeah, separation of powers is a big pain in the butt. That is true.
It is.
That is a true thing. But you're absolutely right. I mean, let's be very clear here. A lot of laws that are silly and ridiculous were put into place to deal with something, right? They were put into place to deal with something. They were trying to curtail behavior. And as you, if you go through life, you start to understand that a lot of the laws are written against the people who have the least ability to fight back, right?
Right. Like homeless people. It is illegal to be homeless.
It's illegal to be homeless. It is illegal to sell sex. And let's be honest, why can men sell chopping down a tree? Why can men sell their physical services everywhere? Women only come to the table with a few physical abilities that can generate funds for them. And the one thing that could universally be beneficial to women is the ability to monetize sex. And, it's the oldest profession for a reason, because women tend to be, we tend to have fewer resources available to us, and we have to do more desperate kind of things. So why not allow us to use what God gave us?
Exactly.
If we so choose.
Exactly.
It's no different than it's no different than doing sign language. You have a skill and somebody wants to pay for it.
Exactly.
I don't have a problem with it, but it's things like, the world or the government trying to tell you what's moral and what's acceptable, while, at the same time, we've got a law in Connecticut that says that there's a law that a pickle has to drop. If it's dropped, it has to bounce if you drop it from 1 foot high. Oh yes, this is a law in Connecticut. Connecticut, if you drop a pickle, it must bounce from 1 foot high. Otherwise, it can't be sold. It can't be a pickle. I don't know what the consequences are. But, we have these crazy things out there, and we're not doing anything to roll these back and address things that really do matter. And, let's be honest. These are silly, right? But Did you know in Maryland, sleeveless shirts in public parks are illegal? Even if you're running. Like, I'm a runner. We all run in tank tops because it's hot.
Right.
So the question is, who is going to be targeted as somebody who's right? So you and I laugh about these. Oh, we can laugh. Can't ride a horse more than 10 miles. You can't put on a sleeveless shirt in Maryland in the parks. But they would use those to go after somebody. You know, a government can use these ridiculous laws to actually pursue vengeance and misguided justice against people. And that's a real concern. I mean, it's off
Here's
topic,
my question.
It's not exactly hilarious like we've been talking, but it's a reality.
Well, you're right. But here's my question, because I have one for you.
Okay.
That I don't know. I mean, I think I know who they would target, but I also don't know. I want to know how this came out. In Texas, owning more than 6 dildos is illegal.
Well, let me tell you something.
There's a state obscenity law about obscene devices. So open carry is fine, but, you know. God bless America.
You know, I think any laws that are desperately trying to pull your window open and get into your life, into your world to see what you're doing in your own home. I think any law like that is inappropriate, except to the extent that we need to obviously protect family members and right, like
right.
But I mean, obviously, laws are like that are written. There's anti-LGBTQIA laws out there,
yes,
and it's just an overall policing of our personal autonomy. And so when we talk about Texas, I mean, they got lots of laws down there that are troubling, and so there's lots of those out there. But
now, I'm not exactly sure. I know this is an attack on free speech, but it is illegal to swear in public in some places.
Yeah.
If I'm caught, I'm going straight to death row. I'm going straight to death row.
Sure. I am definitely. And so if I were a controversial figure and I was coming to town in a town in Texas that did this, that would give everybody an opportunity to come after me. And that's really what these laws do, right? Like that's what the concern is. And you unwittingly step into situations that you don't really know what all the rules are because, they seem like, why would you ever ask something like that?
Right.
But then people do get into trouble for stuff like that. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I can see that being like the Bible Belt or whatever. Exactly. But still.
Well, let's do this, Kristen. I know we've done rapid fire before, but I've got some rapid fires for you.
Okay.
I've got a list to throw out at you, and I want you to say, yes or no, right? Yes or no. Yes, you're okay with legal? It. No, it should be illegal.
Okay. All right.
Yes, you're okay with it. No, it should be illegal. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my gosh. The first one I wrote down, I already know your answer to this one, was putting milk carton back with 2 sips in it.
Illegal, arrested, fined $1 million, go straight to jail. Do not pass go.
Okay. Decorating for Christmas before Halloween.
Oh, yes, it's okay. Because
of course it's legal.
It's legal. I mean, sometimes you need a little Christmas, Halloween. Yes, it's totally legal.
Listen, there was a time when I would not turn on Christmas music until Thanksgiving. And then I realized the older you get, the shorter that time frame is between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It seemed like 2 months when you were little, but it doesn't feel that way when you get older. And so I absolutely start that train. I usually start it the day after Halloween because I love Halloween, but I want everybody who is a Christmas person, for whatever reason, doesn't matter what, if you are a holiday person, I want to give you permission to decorate your house whenever you want with whatever you want because it is your house. And if you love that holiday, I love that energy.
Yep. My husband would have said that's illegal and not to do it. But I just start putting things up in the house to make the kids happy, and it makes me happy. So, yep.
Well, it makes me happy, so it gets done. All right. Legal or illegal? The word moist.
Illegal. Illegal.
I love
Jesus,
that word.
I hate that word.
I love that word.
I hate it when I say it because it's so many times that I have. Kick your ass. Now I'm gonna have nightmares of moist. Like,
it's the perfect word. It describes exactly what's happening here. It's not sopping wet. It's not dry. It's somewhere in between. What is the other word for that?
Damp.
I like moist. Damp feels like a downer.
Muggy. Damp feels muggy to me, like moldy almost.
Yeah.
No, see, the
moist
sound
just
of
means
the word
it doesn't mean bad. It just means it's not dry and it's not wet. And I don't know. I think I love that word.
Just this sound, for some reason, it's like chewing ice. The word moist is like chewing ice to me.
I had loud chewers on this, but we're bypassing that because we know how you feel about that. How about legal or illegal? Milk in the bowl first before cereal?
I literally, holy shit, illegal. I told my daughter, I watched her do it. She put the milk in and then put the cereal, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? My exact words to my 11-year-old, what the fuck are you doing? That is not correct. That is against the laws of science. We don't do that.
I've been on a cereal kick lately,
No,
and
don't tell me you do
I
that.
do cereal the normal way.
Okay.
However, as I was eating my bowl of frosted mini wheats the other day, and I hadn't had them for a while, and as I was sitting there eating them, I kept thinking to myself, you know, if I had tried that newfangled way of just putting your milk in first and then putting the things on top, I don't think they'd be as soggy as I'm getting towards the end. And so I see what you're saying because I've never done it before, Kristen, but I have to say that I'm considering it. I'm considering it.
I do not confess your sins to me when you try it. Okay? I don't want to know because I'm still completely disgusted that is something people do. It is a crime against humanity.
All right.
I will die on that hill.
Tell me what you think about this one, cottage baker and homesteader. What are your thoughts? Illegal or legal? Legal or illegal? Ketchup on eggs.
Legal.
Okay.
My dad used to do it, and I used to do it. Don't much anymore, but legal. Because it's okay. I'm not.
You like what you like.
You like what you like. Except putting your milk in first. Because that's bullshit.
Okay. All right. Biting string cheese instead of pulling it apart.
Legal, because it depends on the day. Some days sometimes I'm a puller, some days I'm a biter.
Using speakerphone in a public bathroom.
Illegal. Oh, for fuck's sake. No.
Yeah.
Illegal. I need to rip one, and I'm hearing Great Aunt Sally tell you about how bingo went. No. I don't want her to know what's going on in my world.
I'm struggling to keep it from you. I don't need to keep it from the person you're talking to as well.
And they echo. You know, the bathrooms, the public bathrooms echo.
It's just echoing all over everything. All right. I've got one more.
Okay.
Legal or illegal? Calling instead of texting.
Oh, totally illegal.
Absolutely illegal. And that is why we are friends.
It is.
That right there is why we are friends.
I don't want to talk to you.
I don't.
Text you. I mean, if there is a tone that I need to get across, I will explain the tone that I'm trying to give you.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't want you to have to hear it from me.
Yes.
I don't want to talk.
Yeah, I do not like talking on the phone. It's my least favorite thing in the world to actually do. My absolute least favorite thing in the world to do. I prefer to take care of everything via text if at all humanly possible. But, you know, it's not always possible to do that. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I get trapped on the phone. Like when I answer the phone, it's my grandmother. And then I'm on the phone with her for 2 friggin' hours because she's old and that's just her. Or it's bad news and I don't want it. So no, thank you. Text me.
Yeah. I want absolutely no part of talking to anybody on the phone if I can possibly avoid it. That's just how it is. My problem is, I think the reason I don't like talking on the phone is, number one, I'm a control freak. So I don't want to take the call when you're calling. I've got something else I'm doing right now and I am in control of my day, and I will get to that when I get to it. But if you text me, I can glance to see if it's something I should stop what I'm doing, because I don't know if this is something I should stop what I'm doing if you're calling me. Now, if you're my mom, right? If you're a family member, I'm answering the phone. But my family members know not to call me very often. I call clients, but they have to call to my office to follow up because I will lose stuff too. My problem is if you text it to me, it's hard for me to forget or lose. But if you call and tell me something, I'm probably going to forget it anyway.
Immediately.
So it's totally unhelpful. You should have just texted it to me so I could have looked at it.
Well,
remember
along the same lines. I mean, like emails. I tell people, just send me an email. Problem is, I currently in one email box have 46,000 unread emails.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a choice I have made. But somebody told me on Saturday, hey, so-and-so emailed you 3 days ago. Today, I remembered they told me that, and I couldn't remember what day, and I had to scroll through about 3,000 emails. So I don't like emails either. Basically, texting is the only form of communication I'm okay with at this point in my life.
That's fair. That's fair. As somebody who in the business world, I have to navigate email, even though I hate it. There's rules and stuff. But what I do is I make everybody email my secretary.
I need a secretary.
So I make everybody go through my staff so that I very clearly am not going to forget the important things, because that's my biggest problem. I'm a forgetter. I'm a forgetter.
Yeah. It's got to be an ADHD thing. But what you're saying also is I need a staff. So I'm going to get on that. Not ever. Because I spend too much money to afford to pay people to do anything for me.
Well, believe me, I'm also not making enough money, but I'm just faking it, you know? I'm just faking it. Just faking it. Keeping it going.
Until we make it. Yeah.
Keeping it going.
We're doing good over here. God, we're a hot mess.
Gosh, we are. We continue to be a hot mess.
I will say, I do think this was the exact right thing we needed to talk about today, because I've learned so much about you. I didn't realize you were such a road rage.
Oh, yes. Super road rage.
I should have guessed, though, knowing how much you've driven. You know, I mean, and there's so many more things that we could hit on with this, but I don't really think everybody needs to just listen to us complain for several hours. But I mean, one more, therapy is mental health, not covered by insurance, mostly.
Yeah.
Viagra, 100%.
Yeah.
Make it make sense, people.
I think we should start our own political party, Kristen. It's called the Common Sense Party. And we're going to legalize collecting rainwater. And we're gonna take away funding for Viagra. Maybe we can leave funding. We can leave funding. No. Let's not go crazy here. We're gonna leave funding for Viagra. We just want equal funding for our things. And it's going to be illegal to drive in the left lane, like punishable by. I'm sending ICE out. We're sending you to El Salvador if you're driving in the left lane. That's where I'm at this point.
Jesus. I didn't know we were like, oh man, war crimes at this point.
Holy crimes. Shit. That's what driving the left lane and farting in the elevator are for me. So there you go.
Yeah.
When we're in charge, there's going to be a lot. We're going to have we're going to have an amazing platform.
We are. Ice chewers, loud chewers, mouth chewers, talking with your mouth. Oh, Jesus.
We could keep going. We could keep going.
Absolutely.
Well, I would invite all of our listeners to send us their own should-be illegal stories for a future episode, Volume 2. We're collecting all of these things from you guys. Thank you very much. I want to thank the audience for laughing along with us and normalizing our pettiness and our chaos and insanity.
Yes.
You know what, Kristen? At least we didn't bring everybody down this time, and we're gonna try to alternate really fun stuff if we have to talk about stuff that's hard and not so fun, like money and politics and stuff. We're gonna intersperse it with fun stuff. So definitely keep listening.
Yeah, we can't just let this be a downer, because even then I wouldn't listen to it.
No,
and when I'm editing, I'm like, God, we're hilarious.
We are hilarious. I try and tell everybody that, but some people have their own opinion. Whatever.
Well, they'll just miss out or have to find out on their own. Fine.
Hashtag their loss.
Exactly.
All right.
It should be illegal. People that don't listen to our podcast and subscribe and follow. Oh.
Just a reminder, if you are in California, do not whistle for your canary before 7 a.m. or you could be going to jail.
And on that note, I'm going to go look up some more weird laws. All right. We'll talk to everybody next time and hopefully not be super depressing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on High Heels and Hay Bales. If you laughed, learned something, or just had a good time, make sure to follow wherever you listen.
And don't forget, we've got even more for you. Head over to highheelsandhaybales.com and subscribe to our newsletter and Substack for exclusive behind-the-scenes content, bloopers, and tips you didn't even know you needed.
You can also connect with us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Send us your questions, funny stories, or topic ideas, and we'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, stay grounded, stay laughing, and stay out of trouble. Well, mostly.
See you next week.